Why then, as a country that is more than 90% black, have the grooming policies in our public schools targeted Rastafarian students in particular, and black hair in general? As with everything else, it has its roots in our colonial past. In the book Race and Color in Colonial and Independent Jamaica, Alting speaks to this subtle messaging that paints our African features as negative while at the same time praising Eurocentric features. It's this type of messaging that has been passed down through generations of black children and which our school administrators now joyfully implement. But let's not forget that it was just in 2016 that a corporate area prep school sent home a 3-year-old boy because they felt that his curly hair would give the other children lice. Might I also remind you that it was only in 2020 that Jamaica's Supreme Court ruled that the Kensington Primary School was within their right to ban a 5-year-old child with dreadlocks from their school, and that they did not violate the child's constitutional rights. It is not difficult to see why these grooming practices that are largely discriminatory to dark-skinned Jamaicans with Afrocentric features, it's not difficult to see why it is so pervasive in our institutions and in particular our schools. It serves as a constant reminder of who is really in control of our institutions. It serves as a constant reminder to teach the black underclass that if we want to partake in the benefits of these institutions, we will do so by Eurocentric rules and Eurocentric standards. If we want to benefit, then we have to abandon our blackness.
Basically, there are 4 things that we have decided to dwell on the very opening day. Firstly is on discipline. We discovered that the caliber of learners we have at George Stack have a tendency of coming to school unprepared in the sense that, as we have just seen, there are some who still have stylish hair, some have tints and all sorts of hairstyles which do not promote good learning at a learning environment. So that being the case, I decided not to send them back home, in the sense that if you tell them to go back home and be barbed properly, they have a tendency to stay on the road until the time we dismiss others. And as they get home as such, they don't even tell the parent the reason why one would have been sent back home.
Most African schools have this mentality that students won't or will never concentrate in class with long hair. Growing up, I remember our parents were forced to cut off our hair or find us different schools. Some of these parents didn't have money to take us to good schools. Yeah, so if you had no money, it means you had no choice. It was either you cut off your kid's hair or you go back home with your daughter or son. Yeah, and this has always made me wonder, what does hair have to do with education? How does hair interfere with education? Yeah, so the other day was just I was on the internet and I saw that the youngest president, Mr. Traore Ibrahim from Burkina Faso, he gave a stern warning to teachers in Burkina Faso about not cutting off students' hair, stating that it was our heritage. Yeah, it's our heritage actually, stating that it was our heritage and students should be allowed in class as long as the hair is clean. Yeah, it's clean and neat. Allow students in class.
So guys, the youngest and smartest president in Africa, Captain Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso, has done it again. According to Burkina Faso President Captain Ibrahim Traore, he is sending a strong warning and message to the schools in Burkina Faso, including the private schools and the government schools, telling them that no teacher should punish any student because of their bushy hairs or their natural hair. According to Captain Ibrahim Traore, he said, our hair is our strength. So if the student is not willing to cut his or her own hair, then they should not force them to cut off. But the only thing they can do is to guide and teach them how to dress it and keep it clean. But they should not force them to cut it off. That school will be sealed or will be closed, and the teacher too will face 6 months imprisonment. Are you with Captain Ibrahim Traore? Let me see your thoughts under the comment section. Do you think what he's doing is making sense or does not make sense? Let me see it under the comment section. Don't forget to follow, like, and share this video.
I've always wondered, why do we have to force students to cut off their hair? Yeah, when I'm in class, the teacher is teaching. How is my head interfering with that? Yeah, as long as I'm not making noise, as long as I'm not being the naughty girl in class, how is my hair interfering with my education? Yeah, if it wasn't clean enough, I understand. You tell the parent or tell the student, tomorrow if you come like this, I won't allow you in class. But me having this long hair, like this one is my natural hair, yeah, just look the way it is. Then someone comes from nowhere and tells me to cut it off. How would I feel? I was doing research and I discovered that during civilization, hairstyle could indicate your family background, could indicate your status in the society, and also it could indicate your tribe. Yeah, and during the same time, white people used to tell black people that their hair was a symbol of inferiority. Yeah, and this made me wonder, is this where we got the mentality that our hair maybe is not beautiful and students should keep their hair short when they go to school? In 1960, a movement of natural hair began, together with the civil rights movement. Black people decided to eradicate the negative perception of being black. And it's during this time that natural hair, especially the Afro style, became the symbol of pride, of our pride and heritage. Yeah, it became our symbol. Yeah, so I don't know why we need to change that. People with Afro were making political statements. With their hair, they used that hair to make political statement. They used their natural beauty from having the thick lips, wide nose, yeah, our black color, to make political statement, to fight for racial segregation. Yeah, why do we need again to go back to that era? Why can't we allow a person be whatever that they want to be? If I want to have my hair, let me have my hair. It's my right. It's my right, yeah? And teachers, it's very wrong. Why do you have to force a parent to cut off their kids' hair just because you can't allow them to come to your school with that hair? Some parents don't have a choice. Like I said, they don't have a choice because everyone is blessed differently. We have rich people and we have poor people. A poor person won't afford to go to a rich person's to a school that is expensive. They cannot afford to take their kids to that school, so they have no choice but to cut off that child's hair so that they can attend to that school that they can afford. And it's very wrong. This is manipulating people, both emotionally and even physically. During colonization, black people accepted the way they looked. Yeah, they used the Afro hair to protest. Yeah, political activists used the Afro hair, yeah, to fight for their rights. Later that Afro style became fashion. Yeah, they participated using that Afro style. Not even just Afro. There are so many styles. If you go and do your own research, you'll discover that our hair became our pride. Why do we need to use education system to change what our parents already fought for? Why do we need to do that? Teachers need to know that it's our pride. My hair is my pride. In around 1930s there, Marcus Garvey founded a Rastafarian movement in Jamaica. Yeah, believers were told not to cut off their hair. Instead, they were told to twist it into dreadlocks. Later on, the movement expanded into Africa, even in some parts of the Caribbean. Believers adapted to that. They started making dreadlocks because of that Rastafarian movement. It later became, together with the Afro style, it became fashion. When the white man was still here in Africa colonizing us, they used to force Africans to cut off their hair when they went to school. Yeah. After they left Africa, went back to their land, Africa men took from where the white man left. They started forcing their students, they started forcing their kids to cut off their hair. Yeah. White people don't cut off their kids' hair. Have you ever seen any school abroad forcing students to cut off their hair, especially girls? Yeah, I know how it feels for a woman to cut off their hair. Emotionally, we affect these kids, and we don't know. We affect them. Some of them even start calling themselves ugly. You see a girl without hair, she doesn't want to interact with fellow peers. Some of them become introverts because they don't want to interact with fellow peers out of shame, out of fear of being bullied, being laughed at. Education is very important. I do not dispute that at all. It's very important. But we need to understand that kids are gifted differently, yeah? We have those that are very bright in class, yeah? And it's through education that they prosper in life. But we also have kids who are very talented, kids who have been gifted with talents, different talents, yeah? When in school, why not, if you notice a child loves just looking at herself, dressing well, making her hair in different styles, why can't you nurture, as a teacher, why can't you nurture that student? Maybe even you can help her make the hair fashionable, yeah? They can go and participate in different activities and maybe she can prosper through that, yeah? Why do we need to emotionally affect these kids by forcing them to do things that they are not supposed to do? It's very wrong. Just imagine it was you. Just imagine how we felt when we were forced to cut off our hair, especially I'm actually talking more about girls because for us, to girls, hair is it's something very important because it's our beauty. It's our beauty. Yeah, there's a stage where you just want everyone to see how you look with your hair. Then now imagine you went to school with your long hair, maybe in a boarding school, yeah. Then it's midterm. You come back home with no hair. During that period, that holiday period, you don't want to interact with your fellow peers. You are ashamed. You start calling yourself ugly. You stand in front of the mirror, you start crying because the person you're seeing there is not you. Why? Because your teacher forced you to do something that you're not supposed to do. Shaving is a very personal decision. I believe that. I believe it's a very, especially after a child has started discovering herself or himself, it's a very personal decision. Teachers should not force kids to cut off their hair, even parents. Unless for parents, unless you know, maybe I'm doing this because of this reason, maybe a child is sick, maybe she needs to shave off her hair for for you to apply medicine, or maybe there's this particular reason that you have to shave it off. Yeah, if you have a very genuine reason, it's okay, it's very fine. Even for us grown-ups, we need to accept ourselves. I'm talking to blacks. We need to accept the way we look. We need to love ourselves and stop imitating the white person. Nowadays we see people wearing wigs, putting artificial hair, yeah? They want to look like white people. It's high time we start embracing our hair and stop imitating these people. That's why they never respect us. Why? Because we are giving them reasons not to. They've been controlling us from I don't know when. We are still being controlled even right now. Let's embrace our hair. It's our pride. It's our heritage. and the legacy needs to live on.